happened to pull up the Stevens County agenda from last week, and lo and behold, Commissioner Stobart was attending boot camp. This got me thinking. So last year during election season, I sat streaming through a couple of candidate nights and read several media posts and did some background research on Commissioner Monty Stobart and his supposed experience with government budgets. Get this. The treasurer and auditor painted him as the financial savior of Stevens County, when in reality, it was just another bait and switch by these two elected officials. 9 months into office, according to the official Stevens County Commissioner agenda, dated for last week, September 8, 2025, Stobart was enrolled in MRSC's Finance Boot Camp, a 5-day course specifically designed for beginners in government finance. Let that sink in. The budget expert you were sold, touted over by the treasurer and auditor in the last election cycle, a person now sitting in a top seat in the county as commissioner, is now sitting in a class meant for rookies. And who's footing the bill for his remedial training? You, the citizens. Lied to again. Citizens were told he had the budget experience to turn things around, the answer to your prayers. The truth? He doesn't. It's obvious when you watch him in budget hearings or commissioners' meetings. He has no command of county finances, no independent grasp of the numbers, and no real answers without being spoon-fed lines by Valls and Larson in the back room before a critical meeting, like the zero-based budget process that Stobart, backed by Larson's so-called expertise that they were touting earlier this year during a budget hearing. It's obvious. This isn't leadership, it's puppetry by the treasurer and auditor. For nearly a decade, Stevens County has been dragged through one bad financial decision after another under Treasurer Leslie Valls and Auditor Lori Larson. Public records show it. Failed financial systems such as OpenGov, Springbrook, and now possibly Tyler Technologies, costing taxpayers over $500,000 in the last 2 years. Add in blown budgets, collapsing EMS, missing financial reports, SAO investigations, lawsuits, and now the county teetering on deficits with depleted or no reserves left. Department heads and some elected officials continue to be frustrated. They hand their numbers to the finance team, only to see OpenGov spit back mismatched data, according to a public hearing that took place recently. If the county is really using the zero-based budget method, and the numbers are not matched at the end of the day, that makes the process pretty much impossible to manage, or in other words, a failure. You can't start from zero when the financial data itself is broken. The mismatched figures trace back to the botched 2023 rollout of the OpenGov financial system, which replaced the old Mitchell-Humphrey system, which is still used today. This transition was overseen by County Auditor Lori Larson, whose limited financial technology experience has compounded the problem. Now, with yet another replacement underway, this time to the Springbrook platform, the county is juggling multiple financial systems at once, creating an open door for fraud. A prime example of the consequences of not performing proper system testing on a new financial system, such as OpenGov, before launch. Think of it this way. Imagine that you deposit $1,000 in your checking account, and your bank repeatedly misreports your balance. Most people would switch banks. In Stevens County, the way to switch is at the ballot box. And it's unmistakably becoming clearer now that we know why there is so much mismanagement. Like the auditor's inexperience, Treasurer Valls was rushed, appointed to the treasurer's position back in 2016, with no real experience. Don't forget the resume Valls was using to sell her own credibility. Court clerk, social services at DSHS, Walmart cashier/assistant manager, jobs that were spun into financial experience and expertise to the untrained ear. But in 2025, the results are in. Wasted tax dollars, failed oversight, collapsed services, lawsuits against the county, profiteering, more property tax hikes to cover the fallout, and a greenhorn commissioner, with a possible tax increase coming soon to a mailbox near you to help cover all of these deficits. If you watch past town halls and campaign videos, Leslie Valls bragged about the $40 million in property tax revenue, $50 million in investments, and the $150 million to $160 million that flows through the county each year under her and the auditor. She boasted about managing 43 taxing districts with 40 different bank accounts for fire, schools, solid waste, and more, framing herself as the banker of the county and the guardian of financial stability. However, the reality is the exact opposite. Under her leadership, Stevens County is drowning in deficits, lawsuits, wasted tax dollars, depleted or non-existent cash reserves, and collapsing services. The glossy picture she painted in the past has now unraveled into financial chaos. The question is, so where did all that money go over these past few years that created this deficit? The election of Monty Stobart as county commissioner wasn't a sound investment. It was another massive cost to the county, an inherent risk. Apparently the, quote, chaos dynamic duo of Valls and Larson keeps feeding you a cover-up story, half-truths and deception, backing a rookie commissioner, sitting in a classroom last week, trying to understand the basics of budget and government finances, but touted as the savior during the past election season, while Stevens County falls deeper into risk, financial ruin, and bad policies. County employees even believe the financial crisis narrative is being exaggerated, so Larson and Valls can campaign next year as the county's supposed saviors, with Commissioner Stobart propped up as part of their plan. Add on top of that, Larson has a long reputation for being unable to work with peers in and outside of local government, often resorting to stall tactics unless they cave to her demands, something I've witnessed myself. Put that all together, and the picture is very clear. This is dysfunction, not leadership. Things are unraveling because they were never built on competence. They were built on spins, lies, voters, emotions, and deception. And once again, it's the citizens who are paying the price. I urge you, the citizens, to go and watch/hear Leslie Valls' public speeches online and decide for yourself and compare those speeches to what is currently happening in Stevens County today. So let's recap. Monty Stobart was pitched as a budget expert, but the truth is his experience stops at aviation production control, scheduling parts, and repairs. That's why, 9 months into office, he's stuck in a beginner's finance boot camp just to learn the basics. And yet, this is the man expected to manage a multi-million-dollar county budget, upwards of $160 million in taxpayer and grant funds, which is currently in crisis, and will not be able to push back on budget funding that he doesn't understand when needed. No wonder taxpayers are paying the price due to all this deception and inexperience. So Commissioner Stobart is a poor investment and was a poor election choice for Stevens County, but was nonetheless pushed by the treasurer and auditor. The veracity of untruths is evident.